Good morning. 8:34, Monday, July 21st. Would you please stand and join me in giving the pledge to the flag of our country? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before you have the minutes.
Make a motion that we suspend the reading of the minutes and accept them as written.
Second.
Yes.
Yes. Into our department reports.
You want to do bid?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Those are the two. Where's the other one?
Huh?
Where's the B's at?
That should be it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll read the top. Yep, okay.
Yep.
We got Barrett and Cox Baby. So Don, will you run these down to
Pam.
Pam to have a look at the right of you down here? Appreciate it. This is for the project in Holiday Valley. Cox paving came in at 449-155-98. Barrett came in at 508-891 even. And again, this is for the project in Holiday Valley, OPWC project in Holiday Valley.
You might reread mine again. My breakout's different than that cover page, I think. I think I might have fat fingered a number on there. Did it break out?
I did not, I looked at the first pages.
Yeah, that's should be 499.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said 44.
No, 499-156-98.
All right.
I had
Okay.
4. I thought you said 4.
49.
Because I read 449.
I was like, dang, I lost $50,000 from that.
Maybe I did say 449. I thought I said for sure. Everybody feel that way, probably.
I think it was reading.
Yeah, it was. So we'll get the.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
have a good one.
Yep.
We'll say, yeah. Bobby takes off on the one day.
You need him to take this.
Yeah. All right, with that, we'll get into our department reports. We'll go with Fire EMS Assistant Chief, Ben Bear.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Total incidents year to date, 1,149. Total since last meeting is 70. We're still averaging about 5.6 per day. We had 2 mutually given, 0 received. The chiefs recently had a discussion with our maintenance department lieutenant stressing the importance of assessing vehicle issues as they get posted on our PS track software. We've caused some issues here recently through preventive maintenance, like the rescue had that leaking reservoir or the well busted. Obviously, we don't like having surprise repairs like that, especially with the amount of recent repairs we've had to do. I do want to say thanks to Nathan. He came in the other day and fixed the door on Medic 250 to help us keep that truck in service. So that was much appreciated. The fire department has been asked to assist with a foam party during National Night Out at Eno Park on August 5th, 6 to 9. The final details are still being worked as we speak. This is a fun community event, and we're honored to be invited to this again by Lieutenant Wise, so we look forward to doing it.
And what date will that be?
August 5th is what I have right now, but I'll double check and get back to you.
Okay.
That's
And that reservoir, just so everybody is clear, that was a reservoir for the engine coolant.
Yes, that was
Yeah,
the engine
so-
coolant reservoir on Rescue 50, like the well busted on the opposite side of that truck. I mean, he popped it over, there was a string where they just leaked it out for a little bit. Needed to be done, needed to be fixed up.
And anything for okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We're getting to road and cemetery, Bob Connor.
Morning.
Morning.
On roadside, we spent some time, got the guardrails mowed back on Snyder, Fowler, Hagan, Houston. So, and we've got one more to do on Fowler, just south of Broadway. So they're looking pretty good. Yeah, the one on Old Mill Road has got all those little cedar sprouts coming up. So we got those all cut back, looks a lot better. I had an emergency culvert replacement out on Woods Drive. Old clay tile that was probably put in 50 years ago when the plat was built. It caved in.
Woods Drive.
Yeah, that's in Parker Jakers. So we got that replaced. Getting ready to lay out 2 culvert replacements on Lucas Drive and Uplands Drive out in Park Ridge.
Do these go into the road or are these just under driveways?
Driveways.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just driveway culverts. I think most of the road culverts have been replaced up there.
That's what I was getting at. I just wanted to make sure we were on top of that.
Most of them have been replaced. And that's really about it from the roadside of the house. Cemetery, we've got mowing is ongoing. It's probably gonna start slowing down a little bit. It seems like the grass has kind of slowed down. I think last week of July, first week of August, they didn't mow a whole lot. They were off. So it's going, I've been having typical funerals. We did get a tree planted up there from the Segerson family. So we've got a tree in section G. And I've got people asking about them. Thinking about getting with Mr. Cooper, who helps us with our trees, and just getting some and get them laid out. And if people want to do the memorial stone thing, just let them pay, whatever the tree is and the price of the stone.
And we're gonna go with hardwoods.
Yes. Yeah, I hate pine trees.
No, they just don't last that long.
No, they don't.
Doesn't
Matter
seem
of
like
fact, we've got
they're.
about 4 of them that are ready to come out. So
That's in section G.
Jay zooming up the hill. And that's really about it from the cemetery. And then the equipment for the park, between me and the salesman, we have no idea where it's at. It was supposedly shipped June 18th, but if it is, it's on a real slow boat from China. And they are not real sure where it's at, and we don't have it yet, so but it's still coming. I assume the check is cleared for that.
I can double check.
Yeah. I mean,
It should've.
according to him, it says it's shipped.
Yeah.
So, once we get that, we'll get those new, bucket swings put in for the little kids and then replace the black swing seats and all new hardware and stuff, so we should be good.
Do mulch in or is that mulch
That
still?
one's still good.
Let's say you just put that in last
Yeah,
year.
last year, yeah, that's still good. And that's really about it.
Anything for Don? Thank you. I didn't get anything from Brandon. None for Jason. Fiscal Officer Dave Ruby.
I just have a number of checks for you guys to sign. I do have the May bank record reports for you. The auditors did pick up, so they started the audit of 23 and 24. So I did file for the budget extension, so I'll work on those numbers in our second meeting, little budget hearing
Okay.
for the 2026 year.
Okay, with that, we've moved into old business. Anything on aggregation?
No.
I got something I want you, since you're the guru with
Well,
this.
yeah, I'm not.
Um,
I'm just one. That's
There's a place out of Florida, AP&G. This is her name and number and extension. I want you to take that down. I want you to talk to her as well. I did. I just want to make sure it's not a scam, but they're saying, look at this price. 0.689
Then that's on
electric.
electric.
And I don't think I got the gas right, but she said 0.049, what she said on that, but I could be wrong.
And just,
Isn't it like 6.3 now?
right. It depends upon what paper you look at, depends upon where the decimal is, you know what I mean? It's abbreviation. So,
Well, that was one thing I just thought it was worth, at that price, that's worth looking at. My bill went out.
They come all the way up. But then they
Yeah.
come all the way up.
Yeah, she called me. She actually called the station here, and
Oh, yeah, I'll look at it. Cause we're a bit higher than that.
yeah, well, my bill was ridiculous last month. It was ridiculous. So,
Have you gotten your new bill, Don, as far as looking and comparing High Edison or First Energy with, gotten?
Oh, wait a minute, I might have.
You probably-
Yeah, but I
You might have it. Just look at your bills, if you're still with First Energy, and see, because this month, First Energy was supposed to have
Increase.
an increase. That's what I was told. But we hadn't seen it yet. And unfortunately, the aggregation this time has not been a good deal.
Right.
We didn't save much money. Because that's why we only locked in for a year. So I'm curious to see if First Energy had their pricing.
Now, I'll take a look at it, yeah, I'd probably need to pay that.
And then the gas, sometime the gas is gonna have a distribution increase. I don't know when that's gonna. And that's on the side of the bill we have no control over. That's on the side of getting the gas,
Supplier.
not paying for the gas. So we don't have any control over that, so.
I know there's a lot reaching out right now, and I just want to make sure.
Oh, I've had tons of
Yeah.
calls from people saying, I'm getting all these phone calls. I'm like, hey, you're welcome to
Yeah,
do your own thing, that's what aggregation is all about. Buy and sell them. I mean, at Young's, we don't use aggregation. We go out and we hunt for, we use a lot of electric.
yeah.
We hunt for the best price we can get. So, yeah, nothing else on that.
And then I really don't have it.
We got a few things here from zoning. Let's see. They're gonna hold a public hearing on Thursday, the 24th. Let's see, this is about.
So are we
This
gonna do
is about that. This is about the lot split. What we've already talked about. Right.
You can.
Yeah, I got one for new business.
Yeah, just to
We
be
do it now.
clear, from what I was told, on that lot split, they did a perk test, but they didn't approve the septic system type that they're gonna put in. So just for the neighbors up there, so they understand that they haven't actually got approval for a septic yet.
Right.
Even though the perk to build on, there's no,
I've
and
talked
it's two
to,
houses on 27 acres, so.
I've talked to two residents.
August
near it.
21.
I've talked to two residents near it, that's their concern, is that where they're gonna build the house. Fact that that area will not. Pay the septic system.
Yeah.
So they're concerned about that. Legitimate concern.
It is, if they.
And I told them what we told the zoning, that if they can't, if it won't perk and they can't get approval. They,
And if they put an aeration system in, they're gonna have to put something in to help that, because that water just runs.
oh yeah, it's gonna run right down the stream in front of the neighbor's yard. So
So,
we've had that problem in Holiday Valley or in Lindo Acres, and we don't want that either.
two houses on 27 acres should pretty much.
As long as they can figure out the stuff.
Yeah.
The well won't be an issue, but they can't figure the subject out.
Yeah. Then do we have anything else from the county?
We do, I was gonna do this new business, but we can do it now.
We're already done.
Yeah.
What is with the new business?
This is a public hearing coming up on September 3rd. It's gonna be at Clark County Fairgrounds, our Arts and Crafts Building. It's gonna be a public hearing to designate proposed restricted areas, unincorporated areas of Clark County for all large wind farm, large solar farm, and economically significant wind farm facility development. As described in, substitute Senate Bill 52 of the 134th General Assembly. Things are changing in Columbus about solar and wind. And so for those of you that don't know, there's a huge solar farm proposed over in Harmony Township. I don't know where they're getting their money. It just keeps going up per acre, to pay more and more and more for solar. So we're having more and more of these meetings and these public hearings to see what everybody's opinion, so we learn as much as possible about what we need to be looking at. So, and what the state is doing, because that affects what we're out doing. So
What's the date on that?
that's September 3rd. At 6 p.m., the Arts and Crafts Building at the Clark County Fair. Because I assume they expect a very large crowd. That's why they're having it. So I plan to attend unless work something.
And that's an evening.
Yes, it's, the 3rd is gonna be on, and what day is the 3rd? It's gonna be a Wednesday night. So it won't affect, it won't be interfering with our meeting, so I plan to attend. That's all I have.
And I haven't heard anything on the lights there on.
No. I drove through there and haven't done any work, so.
And we did have some work done on the Waverly property. I don't think it is quite what the neighbors were looking for, but it did transfer. I don't know if the sale's final, but it's in the process.
Right.
And someone is working on it, so we're gonna give them a little time. I was gonna ask about sending Don and the guys over just to take care of it, but
Have you been by to look at it to see what they?
Yeah, the first time we went by, I mean, he cut it real tall, but the grass was 2 foot tall.
Right.
Then they cut a bunch of brush out of it and had it all piled up in the driveway. And then I drove by it the other day and all that's gone, and they mowed it again, mowed the backyard. But the one that you're looking at the house, the side yard to the right, they haven't done a whole lot with. And I'm sure that's what the gentleman's really complaining about. But there's a lot of honeysuckle and everything growing up right there.
we'll just monitor it. I mean, we'll give the man.
The grass was the big, the grass was the biggest thing in weeds. Honeysuckle is a weed, but it's not a weed like thistles. They just didn't want the thistles in there, because then the thistles blow over and fill their yard with thistles. Then they wanted the tall grass mowed because of the lights.
I mean, looks a lot better than some of the houses there that people are living
I've
in.
had another, I've been on the phone with 2 more people about backyards. And, we're strapped on backyards, especially if they're fenced in. I even asked the gentleman, fenced in? Yeah, oh yeah, it's fenced in, don't pull it in. That's a hard thing.
Yeah.
So, but I think Brandon will look at them just to see if we can at least just say, please bring it back up.
Yeah. And I think that house on Hahn, right after you cross over the bridge, Dylan's old house on the right, I think it's sold because somebody's been there working. So hopefully it's sold and be cleaned up.
I did have another complaint about cars on Collier Road. Brandon's not here, but I'll see Brandon this week. He and I will talk about that some more, because the ones out on the right of way are the ones people are complaining about.
This is all the village's fault.
They're right on, they're right on, they're just barely off the road.
That white Mercedes, man, I don't know, it hasn't been hit yet.
I mean, it's just right there. That's like, the person complaining is like And the ones back in fenced in area, I don't like them, but the ones right out on the right of way, you know. Come fall when they're driving their 20-foot wide combine by, that could be a problem,
Or a snowplow.
or a snowplow.
Didn't know that happened.
So those, I'll talk with Brandon about that. And then we'll figure out what
Maybe we'll move it back to the village.
we should address.
With that, we'll move on to, you have anything else, Jay?
No, I don't have anything else.
Then we'll move on to the audience comments. We have Kathy Eastet.
Gosh, usually I get nervous talking in front of a group of adults, but not today. I feel like I'm so fast. I'm here representing Citizens Against Mining, of course. And there are three major things I want to discuss with you. First of all, I know that you guys are aware that Clark County zoning regulations have changed and that mining is now under industrial with a conditional use under industrial. So that means big changes for what Enid Sandra Gravel will need to go through to get their approval. They'll have to, of course, go through the full rezoning and the Board of Zoning Appeals. And as you all know, the first step in the rezoning process is the technical review committee. And in the past, when I was a trustee, they did allow trustees to participate in that. And at CAM, we did have a meeting with the county zoning folks. The young man whose name just left my head, who took Alan Niemeyer's place.
Yeah.
He's on military leave right now, serving in the Guard.
Yeah.
The woman, Stephanie, who's taking his place, we had several discussions with her, and she said they would be glad to host the trustees at that technical review committee. So my major ask for today is that you would represent us at technical review committee. We asked, when we had our meeting with them, we asked if one of us could attend, and they said, no, that was not the policy, but the trustees could. So what we would like to do is give you a list of our concerns, if you would present those at the technical review committee meeting. That's the only commitment I'm asking for today.
And when do we find out?
Okay,
When that, if they do go through this process, how do we find out about that? Do
great
they
question.
notify us?
We are checking regularly with them. You will get a letter, but if I recall, Dave, in the past, we would get that letter sometimes after the technical review committee met, or sometimes with just a couple days warning. So that does complicate things a bit, but we will be more than happy to keep a close watch on that, and we can notify you.
Yeah.
And what we'd like to do, if you'd agree to this, is we'd like to give you the list of our concerns. Of course, your own concerns will probably, many of them will match up, I'm sure. And you may have additional concerns besides what we have. One of the things that is a radical change for us now that they have to go through full rezoning is now we are not limited in what concerns we can bring up. Previously, when they just had to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals, we would not have been allowed to bring up the issues of fly rock, which is that's a big issue when blasting. Also, the issue of concern for the state of our roads. The only thing we would have been allowed to address previously was water issues, health and safety, anything related to health and safety. But that was very limited, mostly to water. So this opens up more areas that we can address.
Yeah.
So, and we'll be consulting with an attorney as to what our limits might be. So we ask you to represent us at the technical review. The next phase, of course, will be planning. And as you know, at the planning sessions, the public can't speak. You can speak though.
Yeah.
So we may at that point be asking you to represent us at the planning meeting. The way they've done that in the past is, and I don't know how many of those meetings you guys have had to attend, but both sides present, well, actually, it's basically the owners who talk at the planning, and the board asks questions, usually the questions prepared by technical review. But in the past, they've allowed trustees only to address.
Yeah.
So we'd like you to be willing to do that in representing us as well.
I'll think of a couple of those.
Great. Of course, then the next step will be the actual rural zoning, and that is open to the public, so we will be able to address it. And our plan is to have our own expert witnesses there. We've been working with a hydrogeologist, and some other experts. So our plan is to have additional people there, depending on what's happened at planning, of course. And then and they told us when we met with Stephanie, that they might be able to go through the rural zoning step at the same time they go to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the conditional use, which that didn't make sense to me. It seems that first you should get your rezoning, and then you should get your special dispensation from the rules from the Board of Zoning Appeals. But she said it's possible they would finagle a way to do, I shouldn't say finagle, that implies something wrong, that they would be able to do them at the same time. So it's possible that there'd be 2 hearings. Okay. And then, of course, final step is county commission, and they can go against zoning, but it's highly unlikely that would happen. I can't remember the last time. Okay. So you guys will.
I mean, I can't speak for him or for Bob, but
Yeah.
obviously I spoke a year ago, and I'm not for dewatering, you know what I mean? It's just, gravel pits are not the issue, but when you dewater, we already knew on Gordon Hill, they already ruined the wells on Gordon Hill when they dewatered in what I call the new pit on the Johnson Fairfield.
Yeah.
And they had to dig new wells. That's just not good. Because you're getting on down in there, and that's just my opinion. I just don't agree with that.
So
And if we're representing your group, at like the review meeting,
We're representing the whole township as well.
we are representing the whole township, but we're also stating that we have, and they know about your group. Because
we've
review
met
board
with
can
them numerous
say,
times.
we want to bring you concerns from some of our citizens in our community. I don't think that's a problem. personally. So,
Great.
I'll go talk to Bob, obviously we can't speak Sean.
Well, it puts Bob in a rather difficult position because of his position with the county engineers department that would be.
One of us can go do it, and he just doesn't have to be. Never an issue with us presenting with people in our community. I mean, I can still present something from someone in the community to the zoning board, and I don't have to agree with it. As a trustee, that's my job. If you want me to go present them with concerns, that's our job to do.
We appreciate it.
I don't have a problem doing it either. I just like to represent facts.
Right.
So there are things that I've heard in the meetings that I didn't agree with, that I didn't think, that some of it was EPA. So I'm not saying you know what I mean? I'm saying everybody.
Right.
I get irritated when the EPA will say something like, that's not even true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we are trying very hard as the CAM board to be factual only and to limit to facts that we can substantiate with
Right.
data.
Right.
And
And that's
we
important.
wouldn't ask you to represent our, uneducated opinion. I'm no hydrogeologist.
Well, would it be okay if one of us did it or both, whatever, I don't know if it's public, we can both be there, but could we meet maybe real quick with you and go over everything?
We would
So
love that.
that
That's
way you could
exactly
back
what we
it
would
up.
like to do.
you could explain it so we knew exactly what.
We
That'd be good to
definitely
do.
want to
Have
do
you
that.
heard anything, have you heard anything through the grapevine of when they may try and go back at this? or
We have not
Just
had-
sit?
I have not gotten any information.
They started digging out on Tremont City Road, but not really aggressively. And that's just gonna be gravel pit.
Yeah, it just looks like gravel.
That's just pit running gravel.
We have no information. I'm hoping that, they have a couple of other locations where they're working. I'm hoping that they put it off for
That's
my
what I
lifetime. Not that I want that to be.
And that happens though, that happens. They have so many different places they buy and they speculate on. They may need something.
Well, I think that, to be honest, my opinion is they thought we would just kind of go away. And they see that we are not going away, and that we're serious. So hopefully that'll at least slow things down. So that's the one item I wanted to talk about. The second item is, did you guys go to the last Township Association meeting when Kyle Kaler spoke on Senate Bill 181? It's
Kyle
on
didn't make
mining.
Kyle didn't make it,
Oh,
but I was there.
okay. Well, Kyle Kaler contacted Cam and told us about he's on the committee that dealt with Senate Bill 181. So we went to the meeting and he gave us a week's heads up. And nobody had been scheduled to testify against it. So two of us actually gave testimony against the legislation. It's pretty amazing. If it changes the permitting process for mining in the state of Ohio, and it really opens a lot of scary doors. Okay, now here come the facts. If you have a permit to mine anywhere in a township, you can use that same permit to mine in any other location in the township without even applying for a new permit from ODNR.
Even if it's not attached to the current.
Even if it's not adjacent. As it is now, if you have property or you purchase property adjacent, you can add it to the permit. This would allow them to purchase property in another whole area of a township without additional permitting, which I think is real scary. Okay. The second thing it does, it makes a mining permit permanent. If you get a permit, it's permanent. Now, they still have to have inspections, but I don't know if you've seen what those inspections are like. They're a checklist. And we have actually made public records requests when we looked at some of these permits. A one-page checklist, and we've seen some that weren't even completed that were turned in. The person said they went to the gate, they looked in, and they didn't see any activity. That was the inspection for that year. So just having yearly inspections doesn't mean a lot. But permanent permits, I think, are a very scary change. It also allows for underground mining in any area that's permitted for above ground mining. Underground, like coal mining, except for limestone. Now, the regulations for that haven't even yet been written in the state of Ohio. They said, trust them, they come up with regulations. I don't know about you, but my experience from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Mining is we don't trust them. We went to some hearings. When they did the review for the permit, the hearing that we went to, there were 5 guys. At one point, 2 of them fell asleep during the hearing. Then, at lunchtime, they all went out to lunch with the mine operators. We were sitting, it was unbelievable. One of the guys didn't have a map. The mine operator takes his up, says, let's share. And they're buddy. So I don't expect, also, of course, people who get appointed to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Mining are people who are retired from the mining industry. They're
Yeah, that's good and bad, at
representatives
least
of
they have some knowledge, but, you know.
They have knowledge, that's great, but
I know somebody.
they're all buddies. It was one of the
They
most,
don't have a non-biased opinion. You just don't have more to have a non-biased opinion. So look at the facts.
and their hydrogeologist used a generic study that wasn't even done considering the conditions here in Clark County. You know, we have the limestone, you all know how the farm chemicals travel and pollute streams and stuff. Well, and you have all those regulations to control what you can use because of it. Well, their hydrogeologist basically said, not a problem. The rate of flow isn't gonna be any higher here than anywhere else, basically. It was unbelievable sitting there. So do I trust them to make regulations? I don't think so. But, and then here's the final kicker. And this will get you. And it's too bad that Kyle couldn't have presented this.
He emailed that day and he said a conflict with his schedule. I think he was out of town, didn't make it back.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
Well, the final kicker is local government townships have no control, have no ability to negotiate with the companies for example, a lot of townships in the past have worked on agreements with mining companies for road repair, damages to roads due to the heavy equipment and loads. You'd no longer have that authority. So, you know, you're screwed.
Any word on where it's at, where that 181's at?
Yes,
Is it
here's
still
where it is.
committee, or is it made it out of committee yet?
It has not made it out of committee. Here's I was really pleased that we went to that hearing and spoke, because they were planning on voting it out of committee that day and sending it to the full Senate for a vote. But after we spoke, this was the one good thing that came out of it, they delayed it. They did not send it out of committee. So it didn't get voted on that day. So it still has to go before the committee. So I'd love for you guys to take a stand, or we all would like for you to contact Kyle Kaler and the committee. And we are keeping an eye out. So far, they haven't scheduled another committee hearing that I'm aware of. Karen's been trying to find that out. And we'll try and go back, but we would love to have your support, because if they hear from trustees also, it just has so much more weight. So, but it's like if they were flying under the radar. Here's the other frustrating thing at that meeting. We got copies of the bill and we all went through and read it. And believe me, it wasn't easy to read. There was a lot of legal stuff that, I'll be honest, I didn't understand. I tried to sort through.
That's why the attorneys read it, so they have to read it for you.
Yeah.
They haven't read it. They were prepared to vote that day. None of them, even Kyle, hadn't read the whole bill. They had read the summary of the bill. There's an analysis and summary that was a page and a half or so. They read that. But when we questioned them on specific aspects of the bill, it was obvious as heck they hadn't read it.
That's sad too, because those bills don't need to be written that complicated. They do not need to be written that way. It's ridiculous.
Job security.
Well, but also even, you would think that their staff at least would have read it and told them what was in it. We brought up different issues and they were like, what? It it was just really frustrating. And then they were gonna vote on it that day, but thank goodness they delayed the vote. So,
They're getting a lot of pressure right now. The state is from, like, I was talking to you, you spoke about that. Columbus right now is out of aggregate. Out. And they're like, whatever we gotta do to get it happening.
well, they.
Because all these, I know what you're saying, but I'm just telling you the other side of the coin. That's why they're saying just,
And that's why they started importing cement in from Asia.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't enough, I know a guy down here at the cement plant. They were booked out a year and a half.
Wow.
I asked him later on, I said, how's it going? He goes, oh, we're good now. He goes, because of all the construction, the battery plant down in Jeffersonville, on his building, and all the plants being built over there, and just like Columbus to build chips, he said they started importing cement from Europe and Asia. Because
Well-
we couldn't, because none of us could keep up.
Well, and I appreciate the need for it, and,
Well, yeah.
but the location here is what's wrong. It's just not the right location.
Oh, no, I'm talking about this physical one.
Yeah.
Like the reason
Well,
they're trying to, I, that's my theory, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure you're right, and that was, I think Kyle might have mentioned it. He was, he invited us back to his office, and, he said he would vote against it, but he would probably have been the only person on that, committee to vote against it. And when it goes to the whole house, you can bet it'll pass, because the mining industry is paid for it. It's big money, yeah.
Well, it's just like, and Jay and I spoke about this with, we were talking about these solar farms. We're not against solar. We're not against, I'm not against solar or wind, but when you're talking 5,000 acres, it's just getting crazy.
Well, this is kind of off
And-
my
and no
topic.
regulations.
Why are
That's
they
the
taking
thing.
good farmland?
Yeah.
And Harmony, I'm on that ESC board, and representatives from that group came and spoke to us. This is prime agricultural land.
Because it's
they're
easy, it's
It's
just.
an easy grab.
Why isn't it on, why can't I get, why did they should have made Young's put it on top of our building. Look how big that building is.
Every building should.
That's the building that should have had it on.
It should be in brown spaces in cities, that sort of thing. To use up good farmland is,
Or, there's a lot of areas that, they could do a better job with solar. And then those areas would be areas that they could afford to go back in when those panels have reached their maturity and they replace the panels and they maintain solar. I'm driving through Illinois, little towns, just clearing farm ground, putting solar fields out there, and it's right outside of a little town, which is fine, but there's just other ways, there's other ways to do it.
well, and big groups, like, I understand that, I'm not trashing Mormons, but the Mormon, religion, the Mormons own
About 3,000 of that pie,
more than half
more than
of
half
the
that.
property there. And they bought it to speculate on solar. And when,
They've owned it a long time, but they see that $1,500 an acre payment versus the farmer can only pay him $300 an acre.
easy money.
It's a business decision, and unfortunately, they don't live around there, they're not from that area, so it doesn't affect them.
And they don't care if people get mad. And it's named something innocuous, I can't remember the name of it. But it's a, a religious organization,
It is.
not paying taxes on their profits either.
Yeah.
So, just thought I'd come. So off the top. Well, thank you very much, I didn't mean to digress.
Keep in touch with us.
Yeah.
So we can set up a meeting then prior to the technical.
Yeah,
review.
one of us would be able to attend and get the information.
Okay, who should be our point person? Okay, we'll do one of you. I don't mean to leave Bob out,
No,
but
but he
you
would
can let him
probably,
know.
unless he volunteers for it, he would probably. one of us.
I don't think he'd be comfortable, but if he is, fine, we'll talk to whoever.
If you've got both our numbers, so you can call, if you call one and we don't, grab the other.
You know,
And then we can decide which one can handle, you know, if he's busy, I'll do it. If I'm busy, he'll do it. We'll figure it out.
And even if they don't, even if we don't hear anything come winter time, it wouldn't be a bad idea just, you know, like that one day we met over at Houston Firehouse that one night.
we would love to
And
get
you guys,
together.
you know, just, because the last meeting you guys had, I was planning on making it, and I had problems at work. I didn't get out of work till 6:30 that night. I'm just like, shoot, by the time I get over here, and I looked horrible because I was sweating. I was a mess. So by the time I got home and got to the meeting, I just couldn't make it. 6 o'clock.
Well, we would be happy to meet.
So
with you
this
guys.
winter, once things slow down, if you haven't heard anything, if you hear something, then we'll meet.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, if we don't, we'll plan on contacting you late fall or early. Great. So, Mike, did you have anything to add?
But I will.
Yeah, after pumpkins. Pardon me, after I'm done taking pumpkins.
After pumpkin, okay.
Looked like you had the weeds out of them when I drove by.
We're working on it, better than last year. We still got spraying to do.
I just want to touch a little on what Kathy said about the, you guys going to the meeting. Yes, we want you to have the views that Cam has, and hopefully they're your views as well, that that is the wrong area for somebody to put a limestone mine. But as you said, it's the township, so it's what you guys feel needs to be at that technical review as well. We certainly would enjoy you guys coming to any meetings where we'll gladly share any information that we have. And somewhere in your offices, there is a binder that the previous trustees a couple times ago all had a binder that showed everything from each parcel, who owned the parcel back 100 years, when the old pits were sold, what they were doing. So that's somewhere, and it's a 3-ring binder, white. If you guys get time and want to dig around for a while, you might find that. But we have a lot of information on that. We also, as Kathy was saying, we have a hydrogeologist that has actually put boots on the ground versus cherry picking the well logs from the area and doing the original, which is what Jurgens is, what they did at the beginning to give the Kona depression and that kind of thing. They went out to hit the well logs, and you guys probably know as well, there's a lot of wells that aren't on the well logs. I think it was 82 or 78 or 82. If it was dug before then, it's not on a well log. So, and then the only other thing is, I'd encourage you guys to take a good look at that House Bill 181. As Kathy said, it's pretty scary. It's about that thick.
Yeah.
Kyle might be a good avenue just to touch base with him, but as she said, none of them had. The only person that knew really what was on that bill, and I don't know that he did, was the guy that proposed it. And he was from the mining industry up towards Pennsylvania, that way in Ohio, so it really didn't matter to them any other locales.
Yeah.
But the big scary part of that is taking local government out of it. So it wouldn't matter if you were against it or not, you have no input. So, we'd encourage you guys maybe to take a quick look at that, get with Kyle, maybe you can send a letter. It was very discouraging that the entire state of Ohio, the only people that testified against this 181 in this hearing was 2 people from Camden. And we think we think the big thing there was it went underground mining, so nobody was really worried about it. Nobody knew what it was.
Because there's very few places in Ohio that can even handle underground. Like
Sure.
here, you can't even do underground mining
Yeah.
in this community
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
layer of.
Yeah, the underground mining part doesn't scare us as much in this area here. The biggest thing is the changes in the permitting. The permits, from what they said, is permanent. You can have 200 acres here and then buy 100 acres over here, and this permit is good for there, and you don't have any input in it.
I would agree with that, that's for sure.
So, we'd just like you to take a look at that and maybe a spirited letter saying, this is
We're not
wrong.
against mining or solar or.
And we're
But
not,
there
we're
needs
not,
to be some regulations.
yeah, we're not against people needing gravel or limestone or any of that. It's just the location and who it affects. And it seems like as long as the coin is there, they don't care what the area is. So, and you guys know that as well as well.
Oh, yeah, it's just, yeah, that's unfortunate.
So, that's it. We appreciate the fact that you interested in technical review. Again, any of the information that we have and any of the people we have access to and the information we have access to, we gladly share. But, as a township and a resident, you guys represent us more than Citizens Against Mining. So that's what we're asking you to take.
If you'd get us some information, we'd appreciate that. We would go with some, ammo, not just
Well, and
deer in the headlights.
Yeah, when that day comes, I mean, it may be 2 months, it may be 2
10
years.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years.
It's hard to say. Well, I know Thompson's figuring he's farming for 5 more years at least, so.
Yeah.
So we don't know. But, and it's a waiting game for us, but we do check monthly, to see what's on the
And they
agendas.
own so many properties
They
that
do.
they just let that sit there for a long time.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
And,
It's it's a waiting game. They know eventually.
We'll die and.
Well, eventually, there may be some new technology they come up with that's less impactful. We don't.
well, that, and this board can change every 2 years.
Yeah.
You just don't really know.
Yeah.
So I mean,
We'll gladly share the information we have with you guys. Again, that's Cam's concerns and for the area. Some of it should be yours as well, but the long-term view of it is what it's going to do to local government being able to have anything to say about any of it. Yeah, you guys,
and that's what we're facing
right
now.
outside of the city limits here, or what, they're Markov's up there, that field across from Markov's. If they bought that house and that field right there, decided they wanted to use the permit from over there, they'd come over here and start digging, nobody say a word. And
that's where we're at with the solar field too.
zoning, that wouldn't have any effect on it either. They wouldn't be, they'd say, yeah, we don't agree with that. Yeah. That's it. I appreciate the time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Yep.
Is there any other things coming forward?
Look, we talked about that house. I don't think there's anything else. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Adjourn. Chest, I drank too much coffee.
Anywhere in the township, you get